how to create a class and how to create an object. Good morning, Prashanti. Uh, okay, let me just show you what we created in the last class. Okay, it was not there. Let me copy paste. Okay, so this is a program we seen yesterday. I created a class called subscriber. Okay, where I have methods like make call, okay, receive call, and we also learned about one of the special argument called self yesterday. Yeah, good morning, Kudal. So we learned that self is an compulsory argument in every method. Every method must have a first argument as a self argument. The reason behind is whenever you call the method in Python, it actually pass automatically the address of the object actually. It implicitly pass the address of the object. That's why when we have a zero argument in the calling method and the zero argument we define in the method, then we got an error saying that one is passed but zero is accepted. Meaning you're passing one argument but you're accepting a zero arguments there. You're accepting a zero arguments there. So in that case, what you need to do is you need to take that argument mandatory. You should define that argument here. Okay, you should define that argument here, and the name of the argument can be anything. The name of the argument can be anything, but basically we will be using self as a name because actually self makes sense. It is going to point to this self object. Is going to point to the self object, meaning that it's going to contain the address of the current object actually. That's what I told you. And also whenever you're accessing any attributes, then we will be using self dot name, because diagrammatically I made it clear here that whenever you create any object, s1 is equal to subscriber, actually you're calling the constructor, okay, to construct the object. So it will construct the object for you, and whatever the attributes you have, the attributes will be allocated its name. Okay, you will give a name to the attribute, and also you will have three different memories now: the stack area, the heap area, and the method area. As you all know that heap area is the one where the objects gets created, and stack area is the one where the references gets created, and method area is one where all the methods will get created. Okay, all the class code will be present in the method area actually. But this area need to access the heap area, or they need to access the object, so they need the address actually. They need the address to access them because it's a separate area. So to access that they need the address. So for that reason we are passing this address. For that reason, we are passing the implicitly address, and we are accepting the address, so that through address we can access the attributes actually. So through address we are accessing name, whatever the other attributes we define, through address only we will accept it. Okay, so that's why we required this self as an argument. That's what we had a brief discussion about self yesterday. So self in short is going to contain the address of the current object. Self is going to contain the address of the current object. So whenever you define any method inside the class, you must take the first argument as self. You must take first argument as self. But the question comes like, is it always need to be always created as a self? What are objects in it? S1 and S2, right? No, they are called references with it. In broader sense, they call it as object. Okay, when I look at the program and ask you, I'm creating an object here and I'm creating an object. But actually, if we see in a narrow way, S1 and S2 are not objects, they are references. They are subscriber objects are getting created in the heap memory. That is actually, but in broader way, you can call S1 is an object and S2 is an object because S1 and S2 are pointing to the object actually. But actually Python call them as objects are this one. Okay, you see this, what you got created in the heap, they are called objects. It says I am a subscriber object. Okay, these are the objects actually what gets created in the heap, but references gets created in the stack. So people call S1 and S2 as object, no problem at all. If you call them object, no problem because they are pointing, they are referring to the object actually. S1 is referring to subscriber object, S2 is also referring to another subscriber object. That will be perfectly okay. Okay, thank you for your question, Udit. Okay, so we created two objects now, two subscriber objects, and we used out. Next, we also learned one more example where we created a bank class, and here we have used three methods we defined: get balance, deposit, and withdraw. Okay, and also we created a bank object. Okay, C1 is equal to bank, customer 1 is equal to bank. We given the customer name, customer account number, customer balance. We learn the deposit method and the withdraw method. The good thing about these methods is it's taking one parameter, but you are defining two parameters, obviously. One extra always, because the first argument is going to contain the address of the current object. The self argument is going to contain the address of the current object now. So that's why you will be writing a formula as self.balance is equal to self.balance plus amount. So that every time I'll add self.balance here and to the amount and gets added to the self.balance. And in withdraw method, we wrote little logic that if amount after reducing with the amount, okay, balance minus amount, if it is giving minus, less than or equal to 500, then I will be printing low balance, meaning he has to maintain minimum 500 in his account. He cannot withdraw complete amount. Okay, he has to maintain 500. That's what I am checking. So if it's not maintaining that less than or equal to 500, I will be getting an error saying that low balance. Otherwise, I will subtract the amount. Here. Okay, self.balance is equal to self.balance minus amount. I will subtract. Any questions? Both these examples are clear. Yeah, thank you, Gul. No questions. Let me see anybody having any questions so that I can make it clear, and then we will go for the next concept. Why they made explicit argument in method for yeah, that's can be the question, like Kudal. Because it's a dynamically typed, Kudal, one thing. So that's why it has to be made explicitly, because it cannot decide implicitly the data type.